Every year I'm hiking between 1,500 and 2,000 miles, and I've been doing this year after year after year. So what that's allowed me to do is optimize my sleep system for every single scenario that I might be in and really get it dialed in. So I'm going to be covering my tent, my sleeping bag, or my sleeping quilt, I should say. You could use either, but I'll discuss why I prefer quilts. And then my sleeping pad, and then a bunch of other stuff that I use to really help optimize my sleep. So this includes supplements that I take at night and a few other items that you can pick up that are really cheap that'll help your sleep a lot better. So out here up in the high alpine right now, the first thing I'll do is cover my tent, and then we'll get into the sleeping pad and the sleeping quilt. So as far as the tent goes, this is the Z-Pex Offset Duo tent. It's made out of a material called Dyneema. This is a completely waterproof material, and it's extremely light. So this is a two-person tent. And the reason I like two-person tent is because it gives you a whole lot of room in storms and just to store your gear inside the tent. So I can store everything inside my tent, so it's not going to get wet when it's raining or when it's snowing out. So the Z-Pex Offset tent. This is my favorite tent of all time. I used to use the Z-Pex Duplex, and for somebody like me, I'm 6'2", the Duplex was awesome, but it's a little bit short. So you could get the Duplex, it's fantastic as well, made out of the same material, about the same weight at 19 ounces, packs down to almost nothing in your tent. So if you're under 6 feet tall, that's a great option, but I'm 6'2", so I find this to be a lot more roomy. You could get either, you could look into either of them, but why I like this tent so much is, number one, it's just a one-piece tent. Let me try to get my shadow out of the way here. And since it's a one-piece tent, you don't have all these other things that might break, such as the top piece you normally put on your tent or any vegetables or anything else. It also uses trekking poles to hold it up. So there's no actual poles that go with the tent. So this Dyneema material, it's very thin, it's very light, but it's completely waterproof. So one of the downsides about tents that REI might make, or any other major tent brand, is it has the regular tent, but then it has the top part that you pull on it over the rain, and it's not waterproof. So if it rains for a few days, it's gonna completely wet out and start dripping on the top of your tent. This is actually fully waterproof. So you can spray this with water as long as you want, and it's not gonna wet out. The nice thing, it actually doesn't take water into the material. So let's say it just rained all the night before, you can just wipe it down with a towel or whatever you bring with you to wash off. And it's not gonna hold water, so it's gonna be the same weight all the time. You're not gonna have to lug around this heavy, wet tent with you. The other thing that's really nice about it is it has this bathtub floor, which is also made out of Dyneema, and it comes up on the sides. So even if it gets wet under your tent, meaning you're on an angle and water starts dripping down under it, it's still not gonna get wet inside the tent. So I've used this thing through every scenario possible. I've had it in 60-mile-an-hour winds. I've had it in pouring rain for multiple days. I've had it in snow, everything else that you're gonna find out on any type of trail scenario, and it held up really well. So favorite tent of all time. This is weighing in at 19 ounces. So it's extremely light, just over a pound, packs down to very small, about the size of a large Nalgene bottle, maybe a little bit wider on the diameter. But this thing is fantastic. And I'll leave links to all this stuff in my full gear guide down below. But let's jump inside the tent here, and I'll show you my sleep system. So number one thing for sleep system, when I'm looking to set this up, I know there's a shadow here, so it's not great, but the number one thing I like to do under my sleeping pad is I use trash compactor bags. These are just 2 mil thick trash compactor bags, and that's gonna protect one of these inflatable pads from actually getting popped up through the ground. And then these are dual use. Let me pop in here so the lighting's a little bit better. And what I mean by dual use is I actually use them inside my pack. This pack's made out of Dyneema too. I'll do another video on packs, but inside my pack, I put these trash compactor bags during the day. And then if I'm sweating really hard, even though the pack's waterproof, even if it gets a little moist inside, it's not gonna be a big deal because I have all my down and my gear that needs to be dry inside trash compactor bags. So they're great dual use for protecting your air pad, making sure it doesn't get little holes in it, and also keeping your gear dry if it's raining or snowing or you're just really sweaty inside your backpack. So for backpacks, the thing that go on the outside of the pack that a lot of people use that cover it from rain, those don't work very well. If you're in heavy rain for a long time, they're also going to wet out, meaning the interior is going to get wet, and then they take forever to dry out. You want to use things for backpacking if they're going to get wet. Anything you use for hiking shouldn't actually take water into the material, because then you're not going to add all this weight when you're carrying around wet gear. It's just going to be dry right away. So trash compactor bags are essential for my sleep system. The next thing is air mattress or air pad. So I use this one. It's called an X-Therm, very high R value. You want to see it here. I think it's labeled up here. So it's just the Thermarest Neo Air X-Therm. This is their winter pad. So I think the R value is 7 on this. So there's also the Neo Air X Light, which is the yellow one. I have that one too. It's only 2 or 3 ounces lighter, but the R value is, I think, 4.5. R value is just like an insulation value for your pad. So the higher the R value, the warmer it's going to keep you. So if you're only going to get one sleeping pad, I highly recommend getting an inflatable pad that's extremely light. This pad, even though it has an R value of 7, is very light. It's only 19 ounces as well. So it's extremely comfortable. You can blow it up or down to whatever you prefer for sleeping. So I prefer it very firm. I like a firm mattress at home, so I blow this up very firm. The more air you put in it, the more it's going to insulate as well. But if you're just going to pick one sleeping pad to use for your setup, I would actually recommend this X-Therm pad, because it's only 2 or 3 ounces heavier than the X Light pad, but the R value is way higher. And why it's nicer to have this higher R value is that even if it's fall or spring, you can have a high R value like this and you don't have to bring as many layers. So for 3 extra ounces, you can actually layer down a bit and save weight. So you want to look for things like this in your setup that's going to give you a lot warmer sleeping system for not much added weight. So the next thing we can cover here is my quilt. So quilts are much different than sleeping bags because they go over you like a blanket. So you can see this completely opens up. And then it does have a sewn in toe box right here. So you can see the toe box is like a sleeping bag. But what's nice about this is that if you want to turn it into a sleeping bag type thing, you can just clip these clips. But most of the time, I just use it like a blanket. So it goes over me like a blanket, and the feet go in the toe box. And it's a bit lighter than a sleeping bag, because with a sleeping bag, you have a lot more material and you're actually insulating under your back, which isn't really necessary. I don't ever find that down is too useful when it's compressed down under your back. There's no loft to it, so it's not going to keep you that much warmer. And if you have a really good R value on your sleeping pad, such as 7 on this one, or even 4.5 to 5 if it's in the summer, you're never going to find your backs getting cold. So what I like to do is I like to have 2 different sleeping quilts. I have a 10-degree quilt, which I have right now. This is used for spring, winter, and then fall. And then I have a 30-degree quilt, which I use in the summer. Now, 10-degree quilt might seem really warm. The lows right now are in the 30s, and it's a 10-degree quilt. But what's nice about a 10-degree quilt is it causes you to have to bring less layers. And having all the down loft in a 10-degree quilt, the difference between a 10-degree quilt and a 20-degree quilt as far as down weight is only a few ounces. So for a few extra ounces using the 10-degree, I don't have to bring a bunch of extra layers with me at camp, and it actually saves a lot of weight. So you guys can check out my layering for hiking video. I discuss all this different stuff and how I layer my system up so I'm warm in any different scenario, no matter what it is. So I use the 10-degree quilt up to 40 degrees, and then I use the 30-degree quilt when it's over 40 degrees out. And then I'll also use this sleeping pad until it's about the same. And then I'll change to my little bit lighter sleeping pad that works well for 40 degrees plus. So you got to test this stuff out and get it dialed in for your own sleeping temperature. I sleep kind of cool because my body fat's pretty low, so you'll want to test all this out. But these are Enlightened equipment quilts. They're fantastic. They're pretty cheap for what you get, and it's treated down, meaning if it gets wet, it's still going to get wet, but the down's not going to lose as much loft. So that can help you in some bad scenarios where your sleeping bag might get wet. So let's talk about some other small things that are really going to help your sleep out. One thing you can notice that I have a lot of room in this tent because it's a 2-person tent. But I like to keep my bag inside of the tent at night, and that's just going to keep any animals from biting it. A lot of times when you get sweaty bags, a marmot or something will eat it. I've had that happen before. You don't want that to happen, so keep it inside here. So anything I'm not going to be using while I'm at camp inside the tent, I just keep inside the bag. Everything else is going to stay right here by my head. So I keep my food by my head. No, you can't keep your food by your head. You got to hang it up. So I would recommend keeping your food by your head. You can do what you want. It's all personal decision. But I never hang food or use a bear bag or a bear container unless I'm in grizzly country. Black bears aren't going to bother you. The best thing to do to keep rodents away is just keep your food by your head. Never had a problem with that. So that's the number one thing I do. Keep my food by my head. And then I have my gear bag. This is all just small essentials like first aid kit, anything else that I carry with me. But then I have this mesh bag, and this is what I actually use for my sleep system. Meaning it has all the stuff that I'm going to use every night before I go to bed. So we can just empty this out. Just a little mesh bag, easy to carry, very light. So toothbrushes, one for morning, one for night. If you let your toothbrushes sit for 24 hours, you won't have as much bacteria on them because it dries out. It's better for your teeth. These are just bamboo toothbrushes, so they're very light. Badger balm. This is just balm for your hands or your face when you're out in the sun a lot. Everything gets dry. Great to have a really small thing of balm. So I'll link all this stuff in my PDF. Headlamp. Anything works, whatever you want. This is just a black diamond headlamp I've had forever. Earplugs. Absolutely essential. You can just get some foam earplugs, like 30 decibel earplugs. If it's windy, they're going to help your sleep a whole lot. But anytime you can just make it completely quiet from noises, since you're not used to sleeping outside all the time. I sleep out in the tent 150 nights a year. But even though I'm used to it, just reducing small noises at night will make your sleep so much better. Next thing I have is tape. This is just athletic tape. It's 1.5 inches thick, I think. And I put that over my mouth every night. I do it at home as well. It makes you breathe through your nose. It makes your sleep way better. And you'll be surprised about this. You'll think, oh, there's no way taping my mouth can make my sleep better. It makes your sleep way better. I didn't trust it when I first tried it. I've been doing it for about 2 years now. My sleep is drastically improved because I'm only breathing through my nose. Then I have floss and I have toothpaste. I just have it in this very small twist top container. So you can just allocate enough toothpaste just for your trip. All right, so that's all that stuff right there. The next thing I have is an inflatable pillow. This is a Sea to Summit inflatable pillow. This is the large size one. For an extra 1/2 ounce, you can get the larger size, and it makes your sleep a lot better because your head actually fits on it. I used to have the 1/2 ounce lighter, smaller size, and it just wasn't as comfortable. So that can work really well too. So whenever you're setting up your design of your sleep system, every night when you get into your tent, you want everything to go into the exact same place. So I have my food storage for the whole trip. I have my daily food bag. These are all just zip top stuff sacks from Hyperlight Mountain Gear. And then I have my gear. And then I have this fanny pack, which I wear during the day. So I put this stuff in the same place every night. And then every night when I get to camp, I'm getting 3 liters of water. I usually drink 1 liter to 1.5 liters when I get to camp, and then 1 liter to 1.5 liters the next morning. I never find that I need more than 3 liters of water at camp unless I'm there for a really long time. But if I'm there for, say, 10 hours every evening, 3 liters is perfect to get rehydrated before I hit the trail. And then have everything else that you don't need, just pack it in your backpack, and then just leave it down here, and then it's out of the way. And then you have a really clean area. And the goal here is to have everything in the same spot every time when you set up to go to sleep. Because then when you're grabbing around at night, I usually don't even need a headlamp because I know where everything sits. And if I need to grab something, I can just grab it. So the next thing that can really help your sleep are 2 different supplements. And I take these every single night. I just count them out into a plastic baggie so I have them. So the first one is magnesium. I take magnesium every single night before I go to sleep. And if I'm doing long miles on the trail, this helps to calm your whole body down. And I take 1,000 milligrams of magnesium a night. You can test different levels. Different people like to take different amounts. But if you're doing huge miles every day of your entire life, high doses of magnesium can be very useful to calm down your whole nervous system, and it really helps you sleep. The other one is called L-theanine. L-theanine is found in green tea, but it actually can help to reduce the latent effects of caffeine. So caffeine has a half-life of 12 hours, so meaning half the dose is gone after 12 hours of taking it, and then the rest of the dose diminishes after that. So even if you don't think you're caffeinated at night when you're going to go to sleep, you might still be a little bit caffeinated, and it can help your sleep not be as deep, which means your heart rate won't get as low at night. My heart rate, when I take these supplements, will drop down to about 42 at night. If I don't take them, it'll be up in about the 55 range. So they help a great degree with lowering your heart rate, which helps recovery. So I take L-theanine at night, and I take 1,000 milligrams of that. So I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to recommend dosages to you, but you can test out these dosages on your own. I've been taking these supplements for a long time, and they help out a whole lot.